On July 2nd, 2022, veteran actor Jackson Anthony, accompanied by two other people, was driving back to the hotel after completing the shoot of a film sequence in Thalawa when a wild elephant came in front of their car out of nowhere. Before Anthony could do something, their car collided with a wild elephant and got crushed. Because of the intense collision, Jackson, out of all the three passengers, sustained severe injuries. The horrific scene was witnessed by some passerby who gathered after seeing the crushed vehicle and injured wild elephant. Interestingly, Anthony's friends consider his death a murder and not an accident. So what happened that made his friends raise such suspicions? What is the truth behind Anthony's death? Let's find out. But before moving ahead, make sure that you've subscribed to this channel and hit the bell icon. Born on 8th of July 1958, Kongan age Joseph Melzi Jackson Anthony, commonly known as Jackson Anthony, was one of the most popular actors in the Sri Lankan film industry. Anthony has always had a passion for acting. Initially, he acted in several stage dramas at the university. However, as time passed, he got to act in many popular stage plays such as Marasad and Madhura Jawanika, which gained him island-wide recognition. Interestingly, Anthony first debuted in the film industry and then decided to make his name in the television industry. In 1990, a drama festival called Bhumika 7 featured 7 of Anthony's best plays, allowing scholarly fans to experience Jackson's wide range of theatrics. In the upcoming years, he took some daring steps, and in 1992, he directed his maiden teledrama, Esala Kaluwara. In 1993, he debuted in the film industry with the film Guru Gedara, and continued to act in various movies. Meanwhile, he decided to enter the television industry, which helped him establish his name. Soon he won the Best Actor award at the Sumathi Awards for his performance in serial Pita Gam Karayo. In 2014, he ventured into his second teledrama direction with Duskon, which later garnered numerous awards at various local festivals. Throughout his acting career, he amassed over 20 Best Actor awards from esteemed ceremonies like the Sarasavi Awards, Presidential Awards, and OCIC Awards. Moreover, he starred in several blockbuster Sri Lankan films and continued to explore cinema with his talent. He became a famous actor, songwriter, director, and scriptwriter. Paradisaya, another of his directed films, received critical acclaim. His ambitious project, Abba, purportedly one of Sri Lanka's most expensive movies, received awards at numerous film festivals. He also clinched the Best Actor award at the Dharana Film Awards 2015 for his performance in Address Na, a film he directed. In 2017, he collaborated with Kerala Cinema Production in Lucknow, directed by Anil Kumar, alongside his fellow Sri Lankan Piyumi Hansamali. In 2007, Jackson Anthony won the People's Choice Award for being the best artist at the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing Award ceremony. During the early 2000s, he worked as a creative director of Swarnavahini and created a well-liked musical program called Hapan Padura. Throughout his career, he was highly praised for his ideas and how he presented the story of Maha Sinalai Vansa Kathawa. Even on the day of the accident, Anthony was returning in his personal vehicle after taking part in the shoot of the movie Singabahu, directed by Dr. Somaratne Disanayake. According to the director, the recordings of that day were very stressful and Jackson was very happy with the recordings. He said that it should be celebrated. However, as the shooting was tiring, Disanayake told Anthony to go to the hotel. Because Jackson was the main character of the movie, Disanayake assigned him a separate vehicle and a driver. But Anthony had a habit of driving his own double cab, and he never used other vehicles or drivers. After Anthony, his younger brother, and one other person left for the hotel, Disanayake also decided to leave. But when he was crossing the jungle of Thalawa, he saw a group of people gathered near a car. To see what was happening, he also stepped down, but what he saw crushed him. His friend was lying in the middle of the road, crushed along with his younger brother and one other person who decided to join him. Anthony was severely injured by the collision, while 2 other passengers had minor injuries. Seeing the condition of Anthony, Disanayake took him to the hospital in his vehicle and called the ambulance for the other 2. Anthony was first brought to the Anuradhapura hospital where he was given first aid. However, he was later transferred to the Colombo National Hospital where he underwent a 7-hour surgery to his neck. As Anthony was almost crushed, he sustained injuries in his neck and lungs and was shifted to the intense care unit almost immediately. His brother, Saman Anthony, had to go through several injuries and was in the ICU as well, whereas the third person who was with them in the car went home after getting treatment. As the news of Anthony's accident spread, much fake news started flooding the internet, one of them being a photo of an injured wild elephant roaming helplessly. However, Anthony's family and the forest department debunked the fake news. Sudhoth Anthony, the brother of Jackson Anthony, said, "There is plenty of information about this incident. Most of them is not true. Only my brother knows what actually happened there. Therefore, let's be patient and wait till he recovers in order to know the truth." Soon, with the constant medical care, Anthony started showing signs of recovery. A few days after the accident, Anthony's wife said, "A lot of progress is being shown today. It's been 4 to 5 months since he started opening his eyes. He opens his eyes, shakes his mouth, and gives hints of feelings. He appeared to be on the mend." It is where it gets interesting because this is what raised suspicion when the doctors declared Anthony's demise. According to director Disanayake, the accident was terrible, but we knew it was not fatal. The cause of the death of veteran Sri Lankan movie actor Jackson Anthony should be explained to us by the doctors. The director spoke to media at the funeral parlor in Colombo. He said that Jackson talked to them after his main surgery. He had to get into this kind of predicament and die due to unknown facts, and the doctors should explain the cause of his death. He pointed out the gaps between the actor's health, which weren't explained by the doctors. He said, "After the main surgery, Jackson talked to us. After that, he was lying on the bed unconsciously. There are gaps we still cannot understand, and the doctors must explain that to us." After being treated medically for almost 14 months, Jackson Anthony passed away on October 9th, 2023. But even his death was controversial. Many people on the internet were concerned about Jackson Anthony's extended stay at the intensive care unit of the Colombo National Hospital than the actor's well-being. The controversy stirred when Anthony's son gave an update on his health. Sujitha Anthony shared how their family used a ventilator that was donated, explaining why the actor stayed in the ICU for a long time. It was followed by a doctor's claim that Anthony relied on the ventilator for almost 500 days while getting treated at Colombo National Hospital's ICU. This disclosure caused a debate, with some people questioning if it was fair to use ICU resources for so long. Critics thought it wasn't right and wondered if political influence had a role. In response, Sujitha Anthony stretched that using the ventilator for a long time wasn't about privilege, but about making sure his father got the best care during his tough recovery. He mentioned that Jackson Anthony really needed the ventilator, and the family's main concern was his health. Also, Sujitha Anthony clarified that the ventilator would now be used for others. They decided to share the ventilator, which was donated by friends and family for Jackson's recovery, with those who needed critical care. This decision aimed to turn the debate into something positive by helping more people in need of medical assistance. Interestingly, after the fake news of an injured wild elephant started spreading, the Forest Department deployed a team to find the injured elephant and provide the necessary treatment. However, even after months of finding the elephant, the team didn't have any idea where the elephant came from and where he went. According to Anuradhapura wildlife ranger Ratnasiri Pereira, since the day of the accident, they worked day and night for 3 consecutive days, and the officers from 3 wildlife offices have collaborated in the operation. However, no clue has been revealed about an elephant thus far, he said. They couldn't find any evidence of an elephant being alive somewhere. Based on their observations and experience, if the wild elephant was injured in an accident, they should have found bloodstains on its path, but surprisingly, no such stains were discovered. He also mentioned there are experienced wildlife officers who can determine an elephant's path and whether it was traveling with difficulty. This lack of evidence is concerning for them. Despite their efforts, they haven't found any trace of an elephant involved in the accident. They even monitored herds of wild elephants, yet nothing turned up. And even though 2 eyewitnesses claim to have seen the wild elephant collide with the vehicle, forest rangers found it impossible to track an injured elephant. It created an air of mystery as no one knew what happened that day. Following the confirmation of his death, fans from all over the world mourned the loss of such a talented and kind person. Few even named him Jackson of all trade. 3 days after his demise, Jackson's body was laid for public honor at Borella Jayarante Parlor in Colombo. Thousands of fans and distinguished individuals, including former President of Sri Lanka Mahinda Rajapaksa, and religious leaders from various faiths came together to offer their respects to the veteran actor. Speaking at the funeral, Sujitha Anuttara Anthony addressed the misinformation surrounding his father's critical condition in the hospital. He highlighted false claims being made during the time, particularly regarding the ventilator used for his father's treatment, clarifying that it was purchased by family and friends in an effort to save his father's life. Sujitha emphasized that the ventilator has now been donated to the Colombo National Hospital to benefit others in need, and there was no need to blame the late actor for the complications that arose during that time. He also refuted claims suggesting his father spent 500 days in the ICU, as alleged by a doctor. Furthermore, Sujitha expressed dismay at certain YouTube channels profiting during his father's final days in the hospital. During his final days, every day the fake news of the actor's demise was flooding the internet, supported by videos of all types. Due to this, the family of the actor had to give updates on his health continuously to stop the spread of the fake news. The body of the actor was released by the hospital on the family's request not to conduct a post-mortem examination, so the exact cause of death is not known. However, it is speculated that his nervous system was damaged beyond repair. However, the passing of Jackson Anthony didn't evoke the typical numb disbelief often seen with the deaths of stars and icons in Sri Lanka. Perhaps it's because the country had already come to terms with his fate following his accident last year. Nonetheless, people still mourn, write heartfelt tributes, and grapple with a sense of despair. The culture of celebrity worship in Asia is famous worldwide, so when fans didn't mourn the death of Jackson Anthony in an extreme way, it raised questions. Anthony was such a great actor, he has so much talent. But he had made some really bad political choices because he was super devoted to his beliefs. This made a lot of people not like him anymore. At one point, people were really shocked by how much he seemed to favor certain politicians, even if it meant going against what he believed in. His fans were really upset about it, and it got so intense that they even argued about whether he should be kept on life support for a long time. And as absurd as it sounds, in a country like Sri Lanka, where healthcare is limited, having someone occupy an ICU for 14 months is a big deal. It made many people question if it is even worth it keeping a person with a special status on life support when he is showing limited signs of recovery. While both parties have their own points, at the end of the day, somebody's political opinion should not be taken into consideration when determining whether the machines that are keeping him alive should be removed or not. It is really concerning that when Jackson Anthony was battling for his life, people, even his fans, thought that it was their place to comment on something so serious. The common people don't have the moral capacity to discuss whether an actor who is suffering every day should be kept alive on life support in an unconscious state or not. But the debate was put to an end when the president of Sri Lanka, Ranil Wickremesinghe, visited the Colombo National Hospital to see Anthony. Upon getting to know the condition of the hospital and Anthony, the president met the director of the hospital and inquired about the shortage of medicine. This meeting was crucial as after the president himself asked to provide Anthony with the best healthcare facilities, nobody could have even proposed to remove his life support. Now, even the president, as it would have gotten him a huge amount of backlash. But it's also worth mentioning that while Anthony was on life support in a government hospital for over 14 months, around 30 patients died because of the lack of ICU beds. However, Anthony's family has responded saying that the life support machine was donated by their family to the hospital and used by Anthony till the last moment. So by no means has he taken something that belonged to the government and the common people. If anything, the machine will now be donated for the use of common people in the memory of Jackson Anthony. A lot has been talked about and written about Jackson Anthony. He totally deserves the praise. He's made a big impact on Sri Lankan culture, leaving behind a legacy that still matters. His work has really made art in Sri Lanka better, and he keeps inspiring a lot of people. Watching Jackson Anthony perform was like witnessing a magical show of his acting skills. He could effortlessly switch between different roles, making each character feel real and believable. Whether he played someone who came from nothing or someone powerful and wealthy, he showed incredible talent in capturing various human experiences. Jackson Anthony's acting was so impressive that he could make you feel all kinds of emotions. He breathed life into each character with such brilliance that it left audiences amazed by his extraordinary talent. Jackson Anthony was really good at using the Stanislavski system. This system, created by Konstantin Stanislavski, says that actors should feel the emotions of their characters to act convincingly. Anthony was famous for studying his characters deeply and making them come alive, whether on stage, TV, or in movies. He spent a lot of time researching his roles. Before starting a new project, Anthony worked hard to understand his character and the time period of the story. This thorough research helped him understand his character's reasons and goals. He also used his own life experiences in his acting. Anthony believed that actors should use their own emotions and memories to make their performances real. He often drew from his own life to make his acting lively and believable. He really believed in being real in the moment. Anthony thought actors should focus on what's true right now, even if it doesn't look perfect to the audience. This dedication to being genuine and spontaneous helped him give performances that felt real and sincere. Jackson Anthony was definitely a person who got involved in a lot of controversies. People didn't just gossip about him, but also brought his family into the rumors. His political views and connections were closely looked at, along with his views on history. The rumors around him were like vultures, always circling and never stopping. Even in his last days, people kept looking for information to keep the rumors going. Despite all of this, Jackson Anthony's influence on art was so strong that it stayed important. The rumors, despite trying hard, couldn't take away from his lasting impact. Jackson Anthony being controversial and handling the public talk just shows how complex he was and how much he influenced the world of art and culture. His legacy, filled with controversy and strong artistic skill, stayed strong and unchanged. Jackson Anthony's children are carrying on his legacy with their own talents. His oldest son, Akila Danudara, is following his dad's path as a TV presenter, model and actor. Sajitha, Jackson Anthony's younger son, is also making a name for himself. He's talented in acting, singing and hosting on TV. Even Jackson Anthony's daughter, Madhavir Vatsala Anthony, is talented. She's known for her work as a TV presenter, singer and actress. Their skills show how much their father influenced them. They are the next generation of entertainers in Sri Lanka, adding their own touches to movies, TV and the art, carrying forward Jackson Anthony's legacy. Jackson Anthony's death at 65 has left a big gap that can't ever be filled. It marks the end of an era in Sri Lanka's cinema, theatre and TV. He wasn't just an actor, he was also a storyteller, a historian and a cultural ambassador. His influence goes way beyond the roles he played. The tragic accident that took Jackson Anthony's life and his friends in July 2022 reminds us how life can be unpredictable. As we say goodbye to this great person, we remember the feelings he brought out, the stories he told, and how much he influenced people. His death, caused by a sad accident involving a wild elephant, has left his fans and the whole country feeling really sad. His story is a mix of everything: a boy coming from a simple background, making his name in the film industry and leaving an impact on the younger generation. Jackson was a phenomenon who lived a controversial life and died a controversial death. The way he died is tragic and heart-wrenching, but what happened is still a mystery. Where did that elephant go? Why couldn't the forest department track him down? The answers to these questions will never be found. That's it for today's video. We will be back with another interesting one, and until then, make sure that you've subscribed to this channel and turned on the notifications.